Columbus Day is a holiday in the United States that happens on the second Monday of October. It's a day off for many workers, and it's meant to remember Christopher Columbus, the Italian explorer who reached the Americas on October 12, 1492. On that day, he claimed the land for Spain. The holiday has been celebrated nationwide since 1937. People often say Columbus discovered America, but that's not entirely accurate. Columbus was the first from Europe to widely share knowledge about the Americas after his 4 trips between 1492 and 1502. His voyages opened the door for many Europeans to come to the Americas, which eventually led to the creation of countries like the United States, Canada, and Mexico. However, it's important to note that Columbus didn't actually discover America because there were already people living here, Native Americans, long before he arrived. So while Columbus is famous for bringing attention to the Americas from Europe, the land wasn't empty when he arrived. The real first Americans were the people who originally came to the Americas long before Columbus. According to the editor of American Archaeology magazine, these people likely arrived from Asia at least 15,000 years ago. They crossed a land bridge that once connected what is now Alaska and Siberia. This land bridge existed because, back then, ocean levels were much lower, making it possible to walk across a wide stretch of land that would otherwise be covered by water today. The land bridge that connected Alaska and Siberia would have looked like a cold, treeless, and dry area, similar to Alaska's Seward Peninsula today. Even though the environment was tough, it was still full of life. The U.S. National Park Service explains that this land bridge was important for the movement of plants and animals between the 2 continents. Many animals like woolly mammoths, mastodons, saber-toothed cats, and even horses crossed back and forth. Birds, fish, and marine animals also established migration paths that are still used today. Humans followed these animals across the land bridge, searching for food, water, and shelter. Once they arrived, they spread out across North America and eventually into Central and South America. Before the 1970s, the first people in the Americas were called the Clovis peoples. Their name comes from a settlement found near Clovis, New Mexico, that dates back over 11,000 years. DNA evidence shows that they are likely the ancestors of nearly 80% of all Native Americans. However, scientists now believe that there were people living in the Americas before the Clovis. These earlier people are called the pre-Clovis, though we don't know much about them. Evidence of their presence has been found in places like Texas, Virginia, and even as far south as Peru and Chile. In addition, new discoveries suggest that humans might have arrived in North America even earlier, maybe 20,000 years ago or more. But this idea is still being debated among scientists, and it's not yet confirmed. For now, we give credit to the Clovis and pre-Clovis peoples for being the first to discover America, since they were the earliest humans to arrive. Although they are long gone, their DNA is still found in most Native Americans today. These people came from the West, crossing the land bridge from Asia to North America. But what about people coming from the East? Was Columbus the first European to see America? That's another question, and it leads to the possibility that other Europeans may have reached America before him. There is evidence that Europeans, specifically Vikings, visited Canada about 500 years before Columbus. They left traces of their presence on the island of Newfoundland at a place called L'Anse Meadows. This site is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site and has the remains of 8 buildings. These buildings were probably made of wood and covered with grass and soil. Today the area is empty, but 1,000 years ago it was full of trees. It seems the Vikings used it as a stop during the winter to repair their boats and wait out bad weather. It's not clear if they lived there permanently, but it's certain that the Vikings were in North America long before Columbus arrived. And to add one fascinating wrinkle to the story of America's discovery, consider the sweet potato. Sweet potatoes, which are native to South America, were being eaten in Polynesia over 1,000 years ago. How did they get there? Scientists have studied the DNA of sweet potatoes from both places and think that either Polynesians brought them back from South America or people from South America brought them to Polynesia when they were exploring the Pacific. This means that around the same time Vikings were in Canada, people in Polynesia were trying sweet potatoes from South America. A 2014 study of the DNA of people from Easter Island, Rapa Nui, found that they had some Native American genes. This suggests that around 1280 AD, Native Americans and Polynesians might have had contact and lived together. There are other theories too. One is by a retired British naval officer named Gavin Menzies, who claims the Chinese colonized South America in 1421. Another theory from a retired chemist, John Ruskamp, suggests that ancient Chinese characters were found in Arizona, meaning the Chinese were there around 1300 BC. These ideas have been largely discredited, so they're not widely accepted. We're sharing the story of America, and one thing is clear. America has been a mix of different cultures for hundreds of years, even before the Statue of Liberty started inviting people to come here for a better life. The entire Americas, both North and South, have always been home to a variety of cultures going back long before written history. People have been coming to these lands for centuries, seeking better opportunities, food, water, and a chance to improve their lives. In many ways, things haven't changed much today. People are still coming to America for those same reasons.